Well, hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're coming at you from our hometown of Great Yarmouth. If you've not been before, this is a great place to holiday, particularly in your caravan down there at Great Yarmouth Caravan and Motorhome Club site. So this is the Great Yarmouth Caravan and Motorhome Club site. It doesn't open till next month, so all pitch is empty as you would expect. We've actually stayed here quite a few times and we only live 2 miles down the road. At one point we stayed on this park for the best part of 6 months while we were moving house. We were sort of spending time in the caravan while we were renovating the bungalow. So it's quite a nice site. The best thing that it's got going for it really is if you like horse racing, it's right in the centre of the Great Yarmouth racecourse, and also if you like golf, then just on the other side, and I'm not sure if you'd better make it out from here, but that is the Great Yarmouth and Caister Golf Club there, which is a links course, and you can see that the golf course and indeed the caravan site is right in the centre of the racecourse itself, and literally just over the bridge here you're on the beach. There's a bus stop right outside, which is absolutely fantastic, but you can walk down to the beach in about 10 minutes from this site, which I think is superb. There's reception. Warden's here, fantastic by the way. This is full of caravans and motorhomes this morning. They're all heading home. I pitched over here, look, with the windbreak and the Mini, and there's the tow car. The more bins and wastewater and Elson facilities here, which is good, and literally it all double backs on itself there. So an area of the seafront that's always popular, of course, especially with children, is here at the Great Yarmouth Pleasure Beach. They're getting themselves ready for the summer as well, like everyone else here on the seafront. Yeah, so the Pleasure Beach opens April to October. You can get on the website, pleasure-beach.co.uk, and you can purchase your tickets online there or at their kiosk. £15 per person. Not bad if you're going to have a full day out. Yeah, so that's Joyland. And inside there's like mini roller coasters and little rides for the kids. It's fabulous actually. And this whole area right in front of Britannia Pier gets really busy in the summer season. A lot of the buses terminate here. There's also a train that runs up and down not just the Golden Mile but the whole of the seafront down to one of the holiday parks at the end near the Caravan and Motorhome Club site that I mentioned. So yeah, there's also, as Helen was just reminding us there, open top buses run down here in the summer too. But if you're at the Caravan and Motorhome Club site, you can get on the bus outside or you can get the train from just on the seafront and it'll bring you all the way down here. So Britannia Pier is obviously a popular place, and this is where you can come and see some of the, what used to be the traditional end of pier shows, become now more of a sort of, one-nighters really. These are some of the acts that were on last year. Jim Davidson, Jimmy Carr, Roy Chubby Brown, Sarah Millican, and then some of the tribute acts to Freddie Mercury and Queen and Michael Jackson. There's also a nightclub at the end of the pier. Looks like, can we get on, Helen? Do you have a little look down there? And then just over here, this is why this area gets particularly busy, because that is the world famous, well, fairly famous, Regent Road. And it's a fairly long walk from one end to the other, but it's absolutely full of, again, restaurants and coffee shops and souvenir stores and clothes shops and you name it, you'll pick it up down Regent Road. Now I don't know if we can get on the pier, we'll have a look. There's some building work going on. If we can get on, we will. Again, quite a busy place when it's all up and running. There's a good view of the beach. Like, the beach is vast. When I was a boy, it wasn't this big, because the sea, well, by now we'd probably already be in the sea. But it's a lovely beach and a great view back over the Golden Mile there. We'll wander through actually onto the other side for a moment. Just over there in the distance, the third iconic building owned by the J family, and that is the Royalty. It used to be called the Royalty Theatre. Before that was called the Aquarium, because it was, I suppose, back in the Victorian days, it was the equivalent of today's Sea Life Centre in there. But latterly used as a large theatre, a cinema complex is what it is today. And then up there is the north end of the Great Yarmouth Seafront, North Drive. But nice to see people on the beach in February, but it's such a lovely day. You can't blame them, can you? So all those great shows I was telling you about, well, they take place here in the Britannia Pier Theatre. And there's your box office and entrance to get in. Just feel very strange to be walking on this pier and nobody else really with me, because normally it's packed. So during the season when the shows are on, there's a show bar here. You can get into the theatre from this side, so this is where you get your pre-show drinks, and late night turns into a nightclub and a disco in here. Now I can't get right to the end because it's locked up, but just on the end they've got a ghost train and some rides for the kids and a big slide, but you can see where the sea is in relation to the end of the pier. I'll just lean you out here a sec. I'm not quite making it to the end of the pier. There's that view again, look at that. Absolutely amazing. Now an interesting little banner here just outside the entrance to the model village that says Banksy was here, and that is true. So Banksy did create a piece of work which he put on the side, I believe, of this building, estimated to be worth a lot of money, and then the owner of the place, who was worried that it might get vandalised, damaged or even stolen, decided to sell it. Now, don't know how true it is, but the rumours certainly are that it was sold for £1 million. I can't see it, but you never know, do you? You never know. We're going to take a walk down the pier, so let's go in. And like most places these days, the first thing you'll see when you walk through is an amusement arcade. Let's go and have a look. I'm surprised just how many people are in here, to be honest. Not my cup of tea, all of this. I'm not a very good winner and I'm a very bad loser. Now the word is that all of the amusement arcades in Great Yarmouth, and I guess everywhere else for that matter, in the winter time they leave all their machines on. Apparently it's more cost effective to leave them turned on, because if you turn them off, more often than not when you turn them back on again 6 months later, a lot of them don't work, so they tend to keep them switched on even if they're closed. So we drive down the seafront quite a bit and notice all the amusements all lit up even when they're closed. Now if we just look south again from the pier, then what you'll see is the new Great Yarmouth Outer Harbour. I say new, it's probably been there about 10 years now. Currently that looks like an oil rig that's being serviced in there. Lots of oil field work, and these days wind turbine work takes place. So the ships do tend to come into Great Yarmouth Outer Harbour and do their business, as it were, there. Now the word is that since that harbour was built, it's had an impact on the actual beach. Some would say to a good effect, because the beach here in Great Yarmouth is excellent, as you can see. But what it has done, it's taken away the sea. So how many piers have you been on that don't have any water underneath them? Well, this is definitely one. So I mentioned there was a fire and it was all rebuilt, this pier. When they did rebuild it, it wasn't as long now, or it's not as long now as it was. And what you will see just over here is the big wooden structure in the ground, and that was where the rest of the pier actually went to. Got a bit of music going on here, so I'll try to avoid that. Don't want any strikes going on in terms of copyright. So the pier, yeah, definitely went out, as you can see, to the water there. But these days, unless there's an extremely high tide or a storm surge, which often you do get down here, then both this pier and Britannia Pier, which you can see in the distance, no longer has water underneath it, which is a real shame, because when I was a boy, I used to come down here and we used to fish off the end of the pier. Not anymore. Nice view of the Great Yarmouth Golden Mile though from the end of Wellington Pier there. Little view of some of the beach huts here in Great Yarmouth. There aren't that many beach huts in Great Yarmouth compared with some of the seaside places on the east coast. But here are a few, and they're positioned as you'd expect, because they're called beach huts, right on the beach. And then let's have a little pan round. Got a different view looking at Wellington Pier. We're going to make our way back onto the seafront now. We're back on the Golden Mile. The sun's come out again, thank goodness. Definitely a bit chillier when the sun goes in. Over here on the right hand side, we're just coming up to the Sea Life Centre. And if you've not been in one of these before, these are quite interesting. They've got sharks in here, some big stingrays and penguins and all sorts of stuff. A great place to bring children in particular. And that seems to be open all year round as well. Not been in for a few years, but we have had a visit in there before, haven't we, Helen?
Yeah, we have, yeah.
It was good.
Took us out, didn't we?
Yeah. So this is a famous iconic building in Great Yarmouth. This is the Windmill Theatre that was, formerly known as the Little Gem a number of years ago. And this has staged some really big summer shows as well over the years. Like likes of Tommy Trinder and Sid James and the Carry On crew used to come and perform live shows here. Latterly became a cinema, an indoor adventure playground for children, and more recently an adventure golf centre, which I haven't been in since it's been a golf centre, but a lovely iconic building. Next door we have the world famous fish and chip centre that is Harry Ramsden's. One thing there are available in Great Yarmouth in abundance is fish and chips. So it's either amusement arcades or fish and chip shops, and the fish locally caught around here, as you can imagine, is fantastic. Just through there to the circus. Fabulous show owned by the J family, Peter J and the J Walker fame. I used to work for them years ago, and they do put on the best shows. They're just incredible. Great family entertainment. In the height of the season, 2 shows a day, the afternoon matinee and then the evening show as well. Absolutely brilliant. No animals involved. It's all human circus, but it's just a spectacular show, and the highlight is always the finale, the water show. So under the circus ring, which all opens up, there's a pool, and it's all lit up different colours. It's just fantastic. So if you come to Great Yarmouth, you must go to the circus. So apart from fish and chips and amusement arcades, there's also an abundance of crazy golf centres. They seem to have really sort of shot up over the years. This one's called Castaway Island. I must say the investment that goes into them is amazing, because the layout and the features are really good. So as you can see here, look, there's Jaws hanging by the lighthouse. So not just around a crazy golf, but fabulous views too. And then just behind the circus amusement arcade is the original Yarmouth Hippodrome building. One of only, I believe, 3 purpose-built circus buildings in the world. Moscow State Circus being one, Blackpool Tower Circus being another, and the Hippodrome Circus in Great Yarmouth. So a famous building. We're sort of heading towards the centre of the Golden Mile now, and first thing to note here on the right hand side is the leisure centre that's just been built. The original Marina Centre, which was here, which was a fabulous leisure centre built in the 80s, has been demolished, and what they've done is they've built a brand new leisure centre, which when it's completed later this year, will look like this. State of the art. In the meantime, these hoardings are up, obviously while the builders are doing their bit from a health and safety perspective, but there's a great history lesson along these hoardings as well. So if you do find yourself in town before this is complete, worth having a look at this sort of board. It depicts a great story of Great Yarmouth. Now that also used to be known as the Tiffany's, the nightclub that was operated by Mecca in the 70s. In the 80s, I actually used to be resident DJ here, and during my time worked with some fabulous acts like The Real Thing, the Fatback Band, Heatwave, LaToya Jackson, all the BBC Radio 1 DJs of the time, and lots of TV celebrities from like Neighbours and EastEnders and stuff like that. Sun's back out, we'll keep moving. So here's another fabulous building, one of 3 iconic buildings really on Great Yarmouth seafront, owned by Peter J and the J family. This is the Empire. Over the years it's had many uses as a theatre, a cinema. We've been closed for a while, but opened last year, the Empire, and they put live music and they do street food and craft beers and things in there, and good to see it open again actually. In this area here is where you'll find a load of sort of good restaurants actually. So again, if you're in town on holiday looking for somewhere to eat, and then this sort of strip for about the next 500 yards or so is just full of restaurants. We're in Great Yarmouth Waterways now, There's a little bit of history to this, and again recently been a lot of work done to sort of renovate it. So the waterways themselves were built in the 1920s, and it was part of a work relief project for men returning from World War One. This picture here just shows quite nicely how it's broken down. It takes up quite a big area on the seafront. And you can see some of the men that built the original waterways. So it's fabulous. It's kind of used to be referred to as the Venetian waterways, and at night time it's particularly interesting because it's all illuminated, different coloured lights. And as you can imagine, in the height of the summer, all of these plants and shrubs are full of colour. It really is good. I just like the way all the seagulls are sat on top of those posts over there. Years ago, you could get a larger boat ride and meander around these waterways. They don't do it at the moment, but they used to back in the sort of 30s, 40s, 50s, right up until the late 70s. And these sort of horses' heads here and elephants' heads, they were all the bits off the front of the boats. So each boat used to have its own character, either an elephant or a horse, a bull, and that's what they are. So we are coming towards the end of our Great Yarmouth walk. I hope it's given you a flavour for what the town's about. We're proud to say that we live here. It's a great town. The whole of East Anglia is fantastic. Lots to do. Plenty of places to visit outside of the town as well, so it's a fabulous holiday base. Check out the Caravan Motorhome Club site. Great place to stay. They're all grass pitches. If you like horse racing, it's particularly good. But if you like golf, it's also good. As I mentioned, there's a golf course right at the side of it. So, from myself, Dave, and from Helen,
Yeah.
it's a big bye-bye for now.
Bye.